I do not understand why health insurance in the US is so freaking complicated. What's up everyone, my name is Christine and I have something called common variable immune deficiency. Today's video is going to be a rant about health insurance and billing and just some of the issues that happen in the United States. I cannot speak for other countries that I don't comprehend. I don't understand why our system is so complicated and nobody can understand it because it's just a system that is designed so that people can understand it and it stays complicated and people give up. It's an issue. So where this video is kind of coming from is something that I am going through today that's going to be going into next week with a bill that I received in the mail from one of the pharmacies that I use for my specialty medication. And I'm going to talk a little more about some other issues I've had and it just... why are things so complicated here? So anyways, yesterday I got in the mail a bill for $600 from one of the pharmacies that I use. At first I thought, all right, whatever, I just have to pay it. It's the start of the year. I have my deductible, I have my co-insurance, whatever. And I look further into the bill and I see my insurance did not pay any portion of the claim that they were showing, which I thought was weird. And to me, it looked like the bill had not even been processed through my insurance at all. It looked like they tried to process it and it got kicked back and the entire balance just went to me. And the thing that confused me even more was I had already checked on my insurance's website and checked the claims. And for one of the claims on this bill, when I looked at my explanation of benefits for the website, it said the patient's responsibility was $160, and this particular bill had two separate claims, so $300 each. So my insurance's website is saying for this one specific claim, I'm responsible for $160. The bill I got in the mail says I'm responsible for $300. It's almost double the price. Obviously, if the $600 is what I have to pay, it's what I have to pay, it is what it is. But if it's not what I have to pay, I do not want to pay it. I called the company and they basically just told me that that was my copay, which it still doesn't make sense to me because I have a $300 deductible and then I have 80/20 co-insurance. So the bill doesn't even make sense. Like if I had to pay $300 and then whatever co-insurance after that, it would make more sense. But even then it wouldn't be at a flat $300 because I've already had claims made this year that have gone towards my deductible. So it really just doesn't make sense. I called my insurance, but unfortunately it was already after hours today because, you know, the insurance companies are open at the convenient hours that you are at work. And if you have a job like mine where I'm involved in patient care, I don't really have the time during my day to make phone calls to the insurance companies and ask these questions. So it's just going to be a process that I'm going to have to deal into next week. I don't understand where the mix-up is. I have the same insurance that I had last year. It's the same pharmacy that I had last year. You think they would know how to do the billing, who to submit the claims to. It should have all just run smoothly, but who knows. I do think that the people in these billing departments are probably severely underpaid and overworked, and I think some of them just, they're an underpaid job and how hard are they going to try, and I think it's very, very, very unfortunate. So there's this to deal with. I hate these things. I will say, if one thing that I've gotten better at through the years when dealing with health insurance and bills and things like that is I don't really get as upset as I used to get upset because I know in the end I will figure things out, even though it's a pain in the ass, even though I have to make several phone calls and waste all this time, and it'll be figured out. So I just don't get quite as upset as I used to. I used to before. I could get really emotional with some of these things I've had to deal with. Anyone out there, if you have a chronic illness, I know you have dealt with issues. This is a rant for us. This is a rant for me. This is a rant for you. It's why is this so complicated? And if you are watching this and you don't have any health issues and you're just don't understand why people complain about our health system, well, here you can hear some of my own personal stories and enjoy. It's oh my gosh, I can't comprehend why it's so complicated. So just some other scenarios that I've had to deal with the healthcare here. Last year when I had to get my breast ultrasound and mammogram and all that fun stuff, I afterwards got a bill from the radiology department for some number of like 900 and something. What was weird in the bill was it said that my insurance had rejected the claim. And I was like, well, that's really weird. I don't know why they would have rejected this claim. I don't require prior authorization. I used the system that is covered by the health insurance. I ended up calling my insurance and they're like, we never received this claim. Then I had to call this radiology place and they sent the claim to the wrong insurance. I don't know where they sent the claim to. It just doesn't make sense to me. I use the same system for all of my stuff, and why was it like for the test they could send the claim to the right insurance, but for the actual radiologist use of interpreting the test it got sent to the wrong insurance or a non-existence insurance? I don't comprehend why things don't make sense, why things don't go together. It boggles my mind. Another thing that I had dealt with was a few years ago, my insurance had changed their pharmacy coverage and they told us the change was going to happen. So before the change was coming up, I was trying to make phone calls and say, look, I'm on this expensive medication. I just want to know what pharmacy I'm going to have to use to get this medication. Is there anything I have to do beforehand to make it a smoother process? And all the responses I got were, we can't do anything until you actually change and you're under the coverage and yada, 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 yada. So I had to wait. And then when we made the change, and by the time I actually had a chance to make a phone call, the response I got was, we don't have a pharmacy that carries your medication. And I'm on the phone with this lady, and I was like, how do you not have a pharmacy that covers this medication? I need this medication to stay alive. And she's just, well, we don't have a pharmacy. That's it. We don't have a pharmacy. And so she gave me the response that they all give you, we'll call you back. They're never gonna call you back. That's the truth. Nobody calls you back. Thankfully, that got sorted out due to a very wonderful former coworker of mine who was a case manager at the hospital that I work for, and she spent time on the phone that I did not have to get this sorted out for me, and I am forever thankful for the fact that she did that for me. So my insurance, it's what we call in the US a PPO like insurance. I typically at the start of the year I have a deductible that I have to meet, and then I go into co-insurance. So when I visit the doctors, I don't pay a copay when I go in for the visit. I wait for them to bill the insurance and then I pay whatever I have to pay. At the start of the year, it's unfortunately a pretty large bill, but once I reach my max amount of pocket, I don't have to pay for anything. I'm just paying my premiums every month. For some reason, like, the majority of the doctor's offices I go to don't comprehend this. They're always telling me I have a copay because they're confusing me with the HMO-like plan from my healthcare system. And I have to remind them, no, I have the PPO plan. You have to process the bill. Some of the doctor's offices get it. They know. But the majority of them don't. I just don't comprehend why it's just this system of like Why don't people know what they're doing? Why does nothing ever make sense? And so often these people come back and tell me, like, you can't get out of paying your bill. You're going to have to pay your bill. I'm 100% certain you're going to get a bill for this amount. And I'm like, I don't have anything against paying my bills. I'm not saying I'm looking for free healthcare. That's not it at all. But I know what my insurance is. I know what my coverage is. I will pay what I have to pay. I'm just not paying for something that I don't need to pay for because you're not billing it correctly. I really have come to believe that insurance has made the system so complicated that people really just give up. They don't get the care that they need. They don't get the medications that they need. Why? It's so hard to get through. It doesn't make sense. These prior authorizations and deductibles and copays and coinsurance, HMO, PPO, it's so broken. Anyways, I am done ranting. If anyone would like to vent in the comments, totally appreciate it. I'd love to hear some good stories out there, and by good, probably complicated. I get it off your chest because we're all in this together. We gotta just deal with this garbage. When you're getting these bills, I mean, $600 is really not that much money. Some people are getting bills for much more. I have gotten bills for much more that were inappropriately billed, and it can be really stressful when you open that up in the mail and you're like, oh my gosh, why do I have this huge bill? I was not expecting this. It's scary. I can't even explain it, but just keep going with the fight. That's all we can do. We're all in this together. Anyways, if you're still watching this, I hope you maybe had some relation to my tangent or have some appreciation to some of the garbage of our system and some of my thoughts. Have a great day. Bye. All I know is our system is horrible. It is broken and complicated. System that is just written to not be meant to